Hey everybody, this is Mike Farah of the Dollar Bin Bandits. I'm going to attempt to do what Bandit Oren does very well, which is go through some of the amazing finds and autographs that I found at TerrifiCon this past Saturday. All three bandits were there, Joe, Mike, Oren. We met up, we had a good time, we looked all around the vendors. I got a lot of signatures, they got a lot of signatures and photos. So I wanted to take you through some of the things I picked up, some of the people I met, and hopefully you like it. So let's start with The Quitter by Dean Haspiel. Also Harvey Pekar, of course, the late great. Dean we've had him on the show, an amazing guy. Great to meet him, really down to earth, loved talking to him. And of course, he signed the inside of my book, which I already brought. These first books are going to be ones that I brought to the show, and then I'll show you some of the ones that I picked up there. Next one, You Mutants #1. Got to get a signature from Bob McLeod. Really excited about that one. What else? Here is one from Ron Garney, who we've also had on the show. These are mostly people we've had on the show, some of whom we have not, but we've definitely had Ron on. We'd love to have him on again. As you may remember from this episode, I just love the way he draws the Hulk, especially his beady, enraged eyes. So was super happy to get Ron's signature on that. Next, Jim Starlin, Infinity Gauntlet. You could see the signature down there. Jim, also a nice guy, also a past guest. I also asked him to come back on, so hopefully we'll see him in the future as well. Same with this guy, Jerry Ordway. We've had him on, and there's the signature right there. We've had him on a number of times. I love this story back in the 90s Superman. So Dark Knight over Metropolis. Love when Batman and Superman get together, and Jerry was a sweetheart of a guy, just like most of these creators. So let's keep going. This was a new one for me. Superman, The One Who Fell. This is more recent. It's by the artist is Phil Hester, who we've had on the show, but I got to meet Philip Kennedy Johnson, the writer, and he signed for me, personalized on the inside cover. And I have not read this one. I'll be truthful. I am very excited to read this one. It was recommended by a friend of the show, George Gustines. So really interested in reading it and talking to Mr. Philip Kennedy Johnson, if we can get him on the show. So that might be a one to come. We have a Mark Waid and Frank. I'm going to butcher the name quickly, even though I know it's a stage name. But Mark Waid signed. This is The Offspring. It's part of the sequel series to Kingdom Come called The Kingdom. And I think this is Plastic Man's son. So very cool. I mean, I love the art. I love everything Kingdom Come related, and Mark Waid could not be nicer, but you'll see another signature from him later. Okay, let's see. Love this one. Wish we could have gotten Jim Lee's autograph. His lines and everything were just insane, but I was very excited to get Carl Potts over there to sign this one. Another past guest, another great guy. Whoop, whoop. Bart Sears. Love this Exo Man of War cover. Love it. Love his work on the title. And I think I have another signature from him coming up on something that was exciting that I picked up. Howard Chaykin, the man, the myth, the legend, got his John Hancock on Century West, a nice Western tale. He complimented me on my taste for bringing this to him to sign. And if you have not interacted with Howard Chaykin, you have not lived. So get yourself to a show where he is signing and just be in his presence for 5 minutes. It will be unique and unlike anything you've ever experienced before. Very nice guy. Stream of expletives, but I love him. Eric Larson, I was so happy to meet Eric Larson. I mean, he was just one of my heroes when I first started collecting. And so I got 2 different signatures, one on Savage Dragon #1. This is the mini series. So actually the first thing that Image put out and Eric put out. And then just one of many of the wonderful Spider-Man issues he wrote and drew. And I love Cybernetic Spider-Man. What can I say? And you get Deathlock to boot. So great stuff. All right. More Spider-Man. This one was the one. I had brought a few, but I decided this one was the one to get signed by Mr. Joseph Rubinstein, who has inked practically everything. So I could have gotten his signature on 5 million different things, including Infinity Gauntlet. But this one just stuck out. It was probably one of the first older comics I ever bought, probably 25, 30 years ago. And was happy to get his signature. All right, let's keep going. Klaus Janson. Was very excited to talk to him. He also is would love to come back on the show, and so we'd love to have him. But yeah, this is just one of my favorite issues of the Frank Miller Daredevil run, and this is when Frank was doing just the breakdowns, and Klaus was really executing the art, and so it's just phenomenal from the cover to the inside. And was happy to talk to Klaus for a few minutes and get him to sign this dynamic issue Daredevil. All right. Chris Claremont. Oh my God. I waited forever for Chris Claremont. Just a combination of so many people wanting to talk to him. He wants to give everybody a few minutes of his time. And also people were getting a lot of stuff signed, especially people right in front of me got about 24 issues signed, which cost a pretty penny. I got 2 things signed by Chris. This issue of Uncanny X-Men, which I love, JRJR art. And of course, kind of ties into the recent X-Men 97 animated series. And then always loved this sort of this Excalibur special before the ongoing series. And Alan Davis art, just really, I thought phenomenal. And I'd love to see or hear or watch or read Chris's, dialogue and stuff when he's doing something just slightly outside the X-Men. This is, of course, still mutants and still X-Men related, but still outside of the main characters that he usually writes. Okay, keep going. Daredevil. Whoops. Lee Weeks. Would love to have Lee on the program. Didn't give me a commitment. Left a card. Hopefully he'll be here. He's just phenomenal. And one of those artists that has continued to grow and evolve. And he just is now, I think his modern work is probably some of the best he's ever done. So Lee, please come on the program. This was a fun one. Got to meet Gene Ha. Gene we've had on the program. I'm going to see if you can see. Gene gives you a little sketch with each signature, which was a welcome surprise. I believe this is Jean Grey from Below. So this is one of Gene's first mainstream works. Very excited to get this one. All right. Here's an interesting one. She, Sideblade. And there's the signature from the one and only Billy Tucci. I also got Billy's contact info, so hopefully we'll have him on the program. And we're excited about that. All right, 100 Bullets, signed by cover artist Dave Johnson. Also would love to have him on the program. Didn't give me a commitment, but hopefully we'll hear from him. If not, I will continue to pursue. Brian Azzarello was also there. I've seen and gotten a signature from him before. I just couldn't track him down later on in the show to get his signature on this one, but would love to add that as well. Tom Rainey. I like Tom Rainey. I like him a lot. We haven't had the chance to get him on the program, so we'd love to have him on. This is what I remember him for, is this title Mutant X, and I just love his art style on this sort of alternate, maybe not alternate history, but sort of multiversal kind of series. I think it's sort of like Exiles related in some way. Anyway, great to meet Tom, and hopefully he'll come on the program. Okay, this one I'm going to have to open up or take out of plastic. This is Superman Birthright, that seminal book, which I had already had Lionel Yu sign down yonder. And Mr. Mark Waid gave me a signature and a Superman insignia. Pretty cool. This is a great book if you guys don't have it. All right. This was also a new one to me, but we're very excited. I think we can get Mr. Jason Aaron on the program. This is obviously, from his seminal run on Thor. And, this is sort of formed the basis, I guess, for Thor Love and Thunder with Gore the God Killer. And there you go, a signature on the first page. A little dialogue to me. Cool stuff. All right, now we're going to get into a few pickups that I got at the Hero Initiative. There were some signatures I couldn't get, some people that weren't there, some people that just had longer lines. And the Hero Initiative is phenomenal. First of all, it's a charity. It's a charity that helps older comic creators or those that are having monetary problems and supports them. And the way it does this is by, selling various different signed comics, opportunities to meet creators, all kinds of stuff. And so I knew that by buying these comics, I was going to be giving to a good cause. And so I got some pretty cool signatures. First of all, the Ray Zero, which is signed not only by Joe Quesada, who was not there, but also by Christopher Priest, the writer, who was also not there, but two big creators that I would love to have on the program. David Michelini, depending on how you'd like to pronounce it. Hopefully we'll have him on one day to know. Although I've heard he's sort of retired and is not doing, publicity anymore. So I don't know. Anyway, I thought this might be one of the only times I get to get his signature. So I got it on Action Comics Zero. I love Zero stuff. 0 Hour 30th anniversary is coming up. I couldn't make it through Walt's line. I really wanted to meet Walt and get my own signatures on some stuff. But instead, I got this Walt signed Wolverine, which is one that Walt wrote, and with artist Mike Mignola. Then I had to get a Thor signed by Walt. Because you just have to get a Thor signed by Walter Simonson. I got one signed by Louise Simonson, who was supposed to be there, but unfortunately was under the weather and sick and could not make it. Love this Art Adams cover. So thank you again to the Hero Initiative for adding this to my collection. And then one with Louise and Walter Simonson. So, of course, Louise being the writer on X Factor and Walter for at least a dozen issues, maybe more, maybe less, the artists on X Factor. So the two married folks working together. All right, let's keep going. We're almost done. here is Myth. And it is signed by, I think, the two creators, Phil Hester and John McCrea. Phil, we've had on before. I'd love to have John on. I've not read this book, but it looks very cool. And I'm always excited by Phil Hester art. And so can't wait to dig into it. Okay, I think this is the last of the signed things I picked up. This is Eclipso, you may remember, from the 90s, villain, signed by Keith Giffen, the late great. I had to get something signed by Keith Giffen, because when are you going to get something signed by Keith Giffen again? I mean, certainly not in person. We all miss him. But then after buying it, I brought it over to Bart Sears for his signature, and he was excited to see Keith's signature as well. So very cool. All right. And then just some other stuff I picked up while I was there. This miniseries, Cosmic Odyssey. It's all 3 issues. Here's another cover, and it's all written by Starlin and with Mike Mignola art. So very exciting. Can't wait to dig into that. The Department of Truth, The End of the World. I've heard of this James Tynion, the 4th character, but I have not read any of his stuff yet, if you can believe it. We'd love to have him on the show, but I would love to read this, and I will read this, and we'll have something to talk about. So, James, if you're out there, I'd love to have you on the show. All right, then some dollar pickups. X Factor 52. Some infamous Rob Liefeld art on the cover. Always love me some X Factor. I'm going to try to collect that whole run, at least that early run before Peter David took over, because I have everything from then on. Cool Hulk cover. Vision is trapped inside the Hulk's mass. Old Fantastic Four issue. The Sphinx. Very cool. Looking forward to all that Fantastic Four goodness coming to the big screen. And then, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I got a run of Straczynski and McCone Fantastic Four. I think it starts here with issue 527. And I went through 527, 8, 529, 30, all the way to, what issue is this? 535. So that's a pretty good run. Can't wait to dig into that. I always love me some Straczynski. And then I probably should have gone back and got these signed, but a little Captain America run from when Wade and Garney were working on it. So issues 4 through 7. $1 comics. There was one vendor in the middle of the floor of TerrifiCon that just had amazing $1 comics, all bagged and boarded, all from past eras, things that I usually do not see in $1 bins at all. It was all alphabetized. It takes a little bit maybe away from diving for unknown treasures, but at the same time, it gives you good runs, and I like that. I sometimes I don't like to get just random individual issues. I'd like to have a little bit of a story that I can dig into over multiple issues and really kind of sink my teeth into it. But that's it. So I still live in Oren's shadows and doing these things, but hopefully you got something out of it. And yeah, go to these cons. You can meet a lot of cool people and get their autographs and enjoy yourself. So until next TerrifiCon, that's it for my haul video. I hope you guys have good hunting in the dollar bins, and we'll see you for the next episode.